What if the greatest pitcher of the next decade never even planned to pitch again? That's the question shaking baseball's inner circles right now. Because what the Dodgers pitching coach revealed in a closed-door session, a session that was never supposed to go public, has sent shockwaves through every front office from Los Angeles to Tokyo. The words were simple. Almost too simple. Hitting alone is enough. But. And in that single pause, in that one suspended breath, lies the story of Shohei Ohtani that nobody has told yet. Not the home runs. Not the contracts. Not the highlights on a loop. The real story. The one happening in the dark, before the stadium lights even turn on. It started quietly. No press conference. No official announcement. In a conversation that circulated among coaches and front office staff, Dodgers pitching coach Mark Prior reportedly made a statement that caught everyone off guard. He wasn't talking about mechanics. He wasn't talking about spin rates or grip pressure or pitch sequencing. He was talking about something far more fundamental. Prior's message was this: from a pure offensive standpoint, Ohtani had already crossed a threshold no player had crossed before. His bat alone, just his bat, was already enough to justify his presence on any roster in the world. The numbers backed it up. In 2024, Ohtani posted a .310 batting average, 44 home runs, and 130 RBIs, a performance so dominant it would have made him the most dangerous hitter in the National League without a single inning pitched. But here is where Prior stopped everyone cold. Hitting alone is enough. But Shohei doesn't want to just be enough. That sentence traveled. It reached ears in Tokyo. It reached baseball writers who had followed Ohtani since his days in Iwate Prefecture. And it forced everyone to ask the same question. If he's already enough, why is he pushing to become a pitcher again? To understand why Japan went silent when the news broke, you have to understand what the pitching Triple Crown actually means. It means leading the league simultaneously in wins, strikeouts, and earned run average. It is the rarest individual achievement in baseball. In modern Major League Baseball history, only a handful of pitchers have ever accomplished it, and most of them were full-time pitchers with nothing else to think about. No batting practice. No swing adjustments. No split focus. Ohtani did it while also being one of the most feared hitters on the planet. When the final numbers were confirmed, Japanese television networks interrupted regular programming. Sports anchors paused mid-sentence. The phrase trending across social media in Japan translated roughly to, "This cannot be real." But it was real. Every digit of it. And the deeper you dig into how it happened, the more you realize this achievement wasn't born in a stadium. It was born in a kitchen, in a weight room, in a notebook filled with nutritional data that most professional athletes would find overwhelming before breakfast. Mark Prior has coached elite arms for years. He has stood on pitching mounds with some of the most gifted athletes in the sport. But what he witnessed with Ohtani, up close, behind closed doors, was different. It wasn't just the physical talent. It was the architecture of the day. Prior reportedly told coaching staff that Ohtani treats his pitching preparation and his hitting preparation as two entirely separate systems, each with its own recovery protocols, its own nutritional demands, its own mental routines. Where most players manage one high-performance engine, Ohtani is simultaneously running two. And remarkably, neither one appears to compromise the other. The precision involved is staggering. On days when Ohtani is scheduled to pitch, his dietary intake in the preceding 48 hours shifts. The macronutrient balance changes. The timing of meals changes. His sleep protocol adjusts. His bullpen sessions on non-start days are not casual tune-ups, they are structured around maintaining arm strength while preserving the muscle mass required for his power-hitting mechanics. Prior's observation, shared with deep respect, was that Ohtani had essentially invented a training methodology that didn't exist before him. There was no template. No mentor who had walked this exact road. He built it himself, through years of trial, adjustment, and a relentless commitment to understanding his own body at a scientific level. That's not athleticism. That's engineering. Here is something the highlight packages never show you. Long before the first pitch of any game, Ohtani is already several hours into his preparation. Not stretching casually. Not reviewing a scouting report over coffee. Actually working, with a level of focus that teammates have described as almost meditative. His pre-game hitting work is meticulous. Every repetition has a purpose. He is not simply swinging to stay loose. He is rehearsing specific mechanical patterns, ingraining muscle memory for pitches he expects to see based on detailed study of opposing pitchers. He knows what is coming before it comes, not through guesswork, but through preparation so thorough it borders on obsession. And then, after all of that, he walks to the mound. One Dodgers coach, speaking anonymously to a Japanese sports media outlet, described the experience of watching Ohtani transition from hitter to pitcher on the same day as watching a different athlete walk out. The demeanor changes. The eyes change. The way he carries himself on the mound is so distinct from how he walks to the plate that even veteran coaches who have seen everything in baseball find it difficult to fully process. It is not performance. It is not theater. It is genuine compartmentalization, a mental ability so advanced that sports psychologists have taken notice. The reaction in Japan to the pitching Triple Crown was not simply pride. It was something more complex. It was a national reckoning. Because Japanese baseball culture has always celebrated effort. It has always honored dedication. The concept of kodawari, an obsessive commitment to craft, is deeply embedded in how Japan approaches sport, art, and work alike. But Ohtani has done something that even kodawari struggles to fully explain. He has not just honored the tradition. He has exceeded what the tradition believed was possible. Commentators on Japanese television spent hours wrestling with this. Statisticians pulled out historical comparisons and found none that held. Former coaches who shaped his earliest years spoke with visible emotion, struggling to describe what they were watching. One phrase kept returning across different broadcasts, different analysts, different generations of baseball voices. We did not think a person could do this. Not, we did not think Ohtani would do this. Not, we did not think this would happen so soon. We did not think a person could do this. That is the weight of what the pitching Triple Crown represents in the context of his two-way career. It is not just a statistical achievement. It is a revision of the assumed limits of human athletic performance. Return now to that original statement. Because Mark Prior wasn't just making an observation about Ohtani. He was issuing a challenge. When he said, hitting alone is enough, but, he was speaking directly to every young pitcher, every young two-way prospect, every player in the Dodgers system who has ever used comfort as a ceiling. His point was this: the easiest version of Shohei Ohtani, the version that only hit, would already be one of the greatest players in the game. That version would make every all-star team. That version would be celebrated. That version would be enough. But Ohtani rejected enough. Not because someone asked him to. Not because a contract demanded it. Not because the media attention required it. He rejected enough because his internal standard operates on a completely different scale than external validation. Prior told his pitching staff, according to sources close to the Dodgers organization, that the single most important thing young pitchers could take from studying Ohtani was not a specific pitch or a mechanical adjustment. It was the refusal to define yourself by what you've already proven. Every morning Ohtani wakes up, he is not the reigning home run leader. He is not the pitching Triple Crown winner. He is simply someone who has not yet done today's work. That is the mind that Prior was describing. That is the mind that produced the achievement that stunned a nation. There is a version of this story that is easy to tell. Talented player does incredible things. Numbers confirm greatness. Nation celebrates. Credits roll. But the version Mark Prior was gesturing toward, in that quiet, almost reluctant sentence, is harder and more important. It is the story of a person who looked at the most comfortable version of himself and said, "Not yet." The pitching Triple Crown will be remembered in record books. The home runs will live forever in slow-motion replays. But the thing that actually produced those moments, the routine, the discipline, the refusal to coast, that part doesn't make highlight reels. That part happens alone, in the early hours, when nobody is watching. And perhaps that is exactly where the real story of Shohei Ohtani has always lived. Not in the stadiums. Not in the statistics. In the quiet decisions he makes every single day, long before the lights come on.